But we are united in one cause, and that's the key to the future, I believe. In this time of compounding negative disruptions that are dividing people and tearing societies apart, like religious nationalism, ethnic religious conflicts, genocides, in this time of compounding negative, governments and civil societies have reached an inflection point. The global movement needs new approaches. We will talk more about this at our partner dinner tomorrow night, that our Secretariat is hosting. But with a generous grant from Templeton Religion Trust, our Secretariat is starting a 3-year project that will deliver disruptive innovation with an incredibly positive focus on bringing people together. Bringing people of all faiths and beliefs together in safe spaces around the world. Think of round tables in the public square. People of all faiths and beliefs engaging each other at those round tables in the public square across their deepest differences. Working together on community projects and issues of common concern, uniting into multi-faith coalitions, and engaging governments together to improve public policy, strengthen the rule of law, and secure religious freedom for everyone, everywhere, as equal citizens. This is how you develop mutual respect, trust, and reliance between all faith and belief communities, and between those communities and their governments. The theme of this summit is religious freedom for everyone, everywhere, all the time. And throughout the program, you're going to see a sub-theme of all faiths and beliefs engaging each other, constructively and cooperatively, and pulling and working together. In fact, the program will preview 3 key multi-faith cross-cultural elements that are vitally important to our future success. First one being education, which you're going to hear about next. The Lamina Institute will showcase a cross-cultural religious literacy case study on how it has reached more than 1,500, I think it's an even higher number now, madrasa teachers across Indonesia, with Abrahamic instructors teaching the teachers about how to engage one another with mutual respect. 2 will be relationship building. The Multi-Faith Neighbors Network will tell stories of their multi-faith clerical relationship building seminars and their most recent successful results from the relationship building they do across faiths. And then 3 is multi-faith actions in the public square. Nadine Mayenza, former chair of USERF and the Religious Freedom Institute, Jeremy Barker, will tell the story of multi-faith gatherings that have developed organically in northeast Syria and what we can learn from them. And the vision is that the more people of all faiths and beliefs learn about each other from each other, the more they will understand each other. And the more people of all faiths and beliefs engage and interact with each other, break bread together, work together on community projects, the more likely they will respect each other. And the more people of all faiths and beliefs work together in the public square and engage governments in multi-faith fashion and stand up for each other, the more they will trust and rely on each other. The hope is that once people of all faiths and beliefs embrace and embody a cooperative engagement approach and unite across their deepest differences, they are able to become builders of religious freedom, inclusion, and cohesion. This is what will undermine religious extremism, radicalization, and terrorism. With that, it's time to hear about the first story. We'll hear from the Lamina Institute about their cross-cultural religious literacy case study. And with that, I'm going to introduce Matius Ho of the Lamina Institute, and he's got 2 of his colleagues that are teaching in the madrasas. Matius Ho.
Thank you, Greg. I'm Matius Ho from the Lamina Institute. First of all, we want to thank the co-chairs of this Earth Summit, Dr. Katrina Latoswet and Ambassador Sam Brownback. So I'm here with 2 of my great colleagues in the project that we are doing in Indonesia. It's a huge challenge because the 3 of us need to share the 15 minutes to explain about the program. So first of all, we're going to hear from Dr. Alwi Shihab, who is a senior fellow at Lamina Institute, but also a foremost Muslim scholar in Indonesia, and a former Minister of Foreign Affairs in Indonesia, and a former Special Envoy to Middle East and OIC. And then after that, I will explain a bit more about the program in Indonesia. And then the last one will be Dr. Ari Gordon, who is also teaching in the course, and he's the Director of Muslim-Jewish Relations at the American Jewish Community, AJC, in the United States. So with that, I would like to invite Dr. Alwi Shihab to give his first remarks.
Assalamualaikum, shalom, peace be upon all of us. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, religious extremism, sometimes compounded by socio-political extremism, has become one of the major problems globally. Islam, the noble religion that I hold so dearly, has been misused by extremists to pursue the establishment of their twisted idea of Islamic State. It has grown and spread rapidly, oftentimes by taking advantage of the freedom of expression under democracy. However, you cannot eradicate ideology by simply attacking them physically. Destroying Al-Qaeda and ISIS without addressing that ideology will never stop that extremist movement. The collapse of ISIS caliphate could mean setback on the ground for the extremists, but their ideology remained resilient and reappeared after that. Coming from the country with the world's largest Muslim population, I am concerned with the extremism problem that continues to plague many Muslim countries. We need to remember that war of ideology is about winning the people's heart and mind, not winning territory. Therefore, it is important to win the heart and mind of the Islamic and other religious communities, particularly the young generation, because they are going to be the future leaders of their countries. This is why education, especially religious education, is very important to win the war. Humility. Speaking of Islamic extremist ideology, we need to revisit the history of relation between the three Abrahamic religious communities, Muslim, Christian, and Jews. Even though they share a lot in common in their historical roots, throughout history there has been a lot of tensions, even conflict between them. Despite our disagreement over the conflict, for example, the Crusades, we need to recognize their significant impact on the rise of extremism, especially because conflict can influence how people interpret their holy texts. In a traumatic situation after the vicious Mongol invasion, Ibn Taymiyyah, the 13th century Islamic scholar, was born. One of his very famous book titled Al-Jawab Sahih Liman Baddala Din al-Masih, the right response to those who alter the religion of Christ. Very provocative. He is renowned for his harsh fatwas, religious decrees against philosophy, Sufism, Shia, and Christianity. 5 centuries later, his fatwas inspired Muhammad bin Abdul Wahab of Saudi Arabia, who rejected all forms of Christian Western culture. Then he founded Wahhabism, a radical Puritan movement that has influenced many extremist groups in the Muslim countries. Today, the Palestinian-Israeli conflict continues to strain the relation between the Abrahamic religions. The hostility supported by the corrupt understanding of the religious texts has been passed down from generation to generation up till today, creating damages beyond the Abrahamic religions. We need to break this change of hostility with bold humility. Humility to recognize the problem within our own religious communities and to correct it. And the good in other religious communities to learn from. So correcting and learning. Humility to recognize that we need to collaborate with other faith communities. Boldness to take the necessary step innovatively. Boldness to move beyond rhetoric to action, beyond interfaith to multi-faith collaboration. And this is what we have been working on in Indonesia. As senior fellow at Lemena Institute, Jakarta, a Christian organization, I have been involved in the design and implementation of its training program for madrasah teachers, for religious school teachers, because they are very important in enlightening the students. I teach them how to understand the Quranic verses regarding Muslim, Christian, and Jewish relations that are often misinterpreted and misused by extremists. The program is based on cross-cultural religious literacy concept that was developed by Dr. Chris Seifel, Senior Fellow at the University of Washington. Christian and Jewish scholars also teach in this program. It has grown to involve many reputable Islamic organizations in Indonesia and outside, becoming a model of moving beyond rhetoric to action, beyond interfaith dialogue to multi-faith collaboration. It is a small yet concrete step toward reforming religious education to stop religious intolerance and extremism. Next, we will learn about the program in more detail from Mr. Matius. And I would like to thank you